Okay, now I have gone through and I've made individual viewports for each of my fans. We have the title block as well, which I've put onto here. And this was just creating individual viewports and making sure I name them carefully. But as you can see on here, this one, if you look down at the bottom of shape, it tells you what the name of the viewport is. And this one says plan view of fan. This one says front view. And this one says side view. This one says title block. And so I want this to just say plan view for now, right? Or I want them all to say up fan. So I can change it down here, right? So I'm going to quick actually copy and I'm going to change them all to up fan, because what happens later, right? If I've got different views of, you know, something else, I want to know that that's the fan. Okay. So now it says of fan. Okay. I'm going to even do it here just for funsies. All right. So now that I have this, I also want to make sure that they're all actually lined up in orthographic projection, right? Our guidelines here should line up. Bam, right? And if they don't, then you should modify that and, you know, create maybe some more guidelines or whatever you need to do to make sure that these parts of the fan match up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do titles on each of these fans. So this is where annotation comes into play. So we've got annotations clicked when we double click on the viewport, and here we have exit viewport annotation in the upper right hand corner, so we know we're annotating the viewport. This is important for a couple reasons. First, if we're going to do a dimension, and so we've got dimensions here in the basic tool set. If we're going to do a dimension of the fan in annotations, say we're trying to do the whole length of this fan, I could come in here and see that it is indeed 10 1/4 inch or whatever it's supposed to be, which is, you know, the height of the actual fan. So that's correct. I'm going to delete this for now. I'm going to exit the viewport annotation. Let's see what happens if I do that same dimension when I'm not in annotations. The length is now 5 1/4 inches, because that's exactly half, because I am in a 1:2 ratio for these fans, right? So that's why. We also have a precision on here that says 1/4 inch. If I wanted to get rid of all the fractions, I could. Then that would be gone right there. So what I'm going to do is delete this, because that's incorrect. We always want to do our dimensions and our labeling in viewport annotations. Here's another reason. Let's say I were to label this fan. I'm going to use text. I'm going to go in. I'm going to say front view. It's very, very tiny. I can edit the size of text after and before. If I do it after, then I've got to, of course, select this. My computer will freaking listen to me. Oh, there we go. Gonna make it larger. Say it's 48 point. Let's just say that's okay for now. I may choose to center this. Now, if I move this later, let's say I realize that this needs to get scooted over just for it to be aesthetically pleasing, I would have to select both those things, which I can do, but I have to always then remember to select both this and this in order to move it. So I could move these things over, that would be fine. However, if I go into annotations, it's all going to get lumped together. So if I go into annotations, and I say OK, and I go ahead and I paste in place, because I just copied that. I'm going to say, I'm also going to give myself a dimension. I'm going to say exit viewport annotation. Now it's all lumped in there together. So it's all about the least amount of clicks necessary and the least amount of times you could screw up, right? So if I move this over here, then everything moves along with it, which is good. Let's say Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, so I get it back. And so that's why doing things in viewport annotations is so important.